Hello, I'm Alison Peak. I'm the Executive Director with Allied Behavioral Health Solutions. In the wake of George Floyd's murder and the recent protests around racial inequity across the country, Allied Behavioral Health Solutions wanted to take a moment to acknowledge this place in history and time and what it means for us as a society, as a country, as individuals, as providers, and as recipients of mental health care. At Allied, when we formed in 2017, we chose our name in part because being an ally was something that we were greatly dedicated to. The idea that as a team of providers that we would walk alongside the experiences of those we serve in order to get to a place of a better outcome. Whatever that meant for that individual, that child, that family, that we would be the ally that stood behind them and celebrated that path to healing. Healing is sometimes very hard. Healing often takes speaking words that are difficult and having conversations and ownership of responsibilities in place of our own blindness and our own privilege to really move forward. In this moment in time, that is what we are calling for. There is across the U.S. this great sense of need to have hard conversations, to own, as for me, white providers, the sense of privilege that we have had, and to also stand as allies in a place of walking with others towards healing. Also, in mental health care, we talk a lot about the role of identity as being in that path of healing. And identity is all-encompassing. Identity is sexual identity, it is gender identity, it is our understanding of how the world accepts us for the color of our skin. And so in that, beginning conversations and acknowledging the inequities that exist around race, the impact of historical trauma, the way that that holds within DNA, within our neurology, within the embedded systems across our country, are absolutely essential in moving towards a place of healing and improved healthcare. And so within that, during the last few months, as we have traversed as the city of Nashville and the state of Tennessee, Allied has remained committed to providing resources and information in the wake of the tornadoes. We have been dedicated to use our social media platform to be able to spread resources around COVID-19. And we have advocated greatly for the creation of narrative as it allows for anchoring for people. Narrative is that idea of creating a story so that we have the ability to understand the events around us. George Floyd's murder and the protests for racial equity across the U.S. are no different. That in this we have need for resources, for links to help us in beginning to think reflectively and to have hard conversations, and also for creating narrative. For the rest of this week on our social media posts, you all will see a variety of resources for engaging in conversations around race and inequity for all stages of life. We're beginning to have those conversations with young children, being able to have those conversations in our interracial adoptive families, having those conversations with our families of same-sex couples and alternative parenting dynamics. And we will also begin to have those conversations and boast resources for adults and adolescents and those in the geriatric stage of life to consider what race has meant for them and for who they are in this space and place of time. We hope you'll find these resources to be helpful. We are always grateful to be your allies in this journey.